Well, they went too far the other way. They put DEI everywhere. They left the border open. Like, you look at the chart for, like, this president, like Clinton and Obama and Bush, it changed. Trump, it changed very little. And then Biden, of course they're going to, like, overreact to that. You know,
Welcome back, everyone. Today we've got Bill Maher sitting down with Luke Bryan. Yes, the Luke Bryan. Bill Maher in this video, he's had enough and goes full scorched earth on the Democrats and woke modern day political culture, which infests our everyday lives and even cancel culture. And of course, Bill Maher has had enough with this left and right wing cancel culture we have today. So let's just dive right in, man.
always loved playing the red states because I would get a crowd that was hip, smart, but didn't have that fucking woke stick up their ass, you know?
And you felt that, though?
In some cities, you
Right.
know, it got better in recent years, even in, like, woke places like San Francisco, because the crowd understood that I was going to give them what we agree on, which is we're not conservatives, but we don't just pretend that woke nonsense isn't nonsense. And they want to hear that. I mean, Trump is changing America in the last 2 days, like overnight. And look, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff, but the leftists, they invited this by overreaching on the other side. He's getting rid of all DEI. Well, they went too far the other way. They put DEI everywhere. They left the border open. Like, you look at the chart for, like, this president, like Clinton and Obama and Bush, it changed. Trump, it changed very little. And then Biden, of course they're going to, like, overreact to that. You know, they invited it on themselves. So, yeah, I mean, in recent years, it's been great because I get that crowd. But, yeah, there were times when I was in San Francisco, I hate to pick on them, but there are places that are very wokey, thinking, God, I wish I was in Alabama. Because that crowd laughs, but they're not pretentious, you know? They're basically liberal, but they're not too politically correct. And comedy is not
Well,
politically correct,
yeah, I mean,
or else it's not comedy. You know what I
my
mean?
grandfather was a Southern Democrat. I mean, that was just what he was.
All Democrats used to be, I mean, all Southerners used to be
Used to be
Democrats.
Democrat,
Kennedy changed that.
and you know, I remember it was just you know, that was a thing. And then growing up in a Republican household, I mean, it was. But man, you know, I don't know. In the South, I don't think we really care that much. I
No,
mean, we
I don't
just
think
want to damn
anyone.
wake up.
Right.
We just
Pe-
want to wake up and
First of all, people have to understand politics mostly comes out of, like, your personality and where you were born and raised. You know, it's just deeper than just we're the good people and anyone who thinks differently isn't. It's just not that simple. It's just so annoying, that attitude. And I live amongst it because this is the epicenter of it, Hollywood, that terrible attitude. But yeah, most people just, first of all, they don't want to think about it at all. When Biden got elected, that was really his big pledge was, if you elect me, you don't have to you don't have to keep thinking about Donald Trump and all this stuff. Of course, that was a pipe dream because Trump never went away and then he won in the election again. So he never stopped thinking about it. But most people, they would like to stop thinking about politics because it doesn't really, in their view, affect their lives. Government can help their lives. They usually don't recognize when it does. They very well note when it doesn't. But basically, would they even know who was president a lot of the times? Many times, in many households, not. And they want to just get back to that, you know? And I can't blame them. I can't blame them. It's too on people's minds. They put it in their social media. They put it in what they write on Facebook. And so we're always like cockfighting each other.
yeah,
You know, like making and we, you know, like we don't have to. We can just talk about murdering animals.
These are some fantastic points right here by Bill Maher. It does seem like ever since about the past 5 or 10 years, maybe 10 years ago, politics has really infested almost every area of our lives in the United States. It used to be you could watch a sports game or a TV show or a movie without getting hit with some sort of left wing political message by someone who's an activist or a social justice warrior or whatever. It used to be you could watch a sports game without someone getting on their knees, or a movie without some, LGBTQ propaganda thrown in there. And nowadays, the lefties have infected almost every area of our lives. And Bill Maher is right. You simply can't avoid it. I mean, everywhere you go, there's someone pushing some propaganda or someone screaming about something Trump did or whatever else. There's just no escape. And the people on the right these days, they just want to be left alone and avoid all of this nonsense. And the left, I mean, it's insane what the left has done with politics in terms of just seeping it into every area of mainstream culture and cancel culture and whatnot, which even the right is starting to participate in. Cancel culture was originally more of a left-wing thing, but now the right has their own form of cancel culture, which it's more based on boycotting. I mean, ever since like Bud Light and whatnot, boycotting certain brands that go overboard with the woke stuff has become a thing. But Bill Maher is right. Politics is just everywhere in American life nowadays, and it's getting so tiring, mostly from the left, but just in general, it's getting so tiring. And Bill Maher, thankfully, is calling out the political culture in the US right now. Hopefully we can someday get past that and get back to normalcy, but I'm not sure if that'll happen anytime soon. Anyways, go and comment down below what you think of Bill Maher calling out the political culture in the US in general, with politics just infesting every area of our lives. So go and comment down below on that, and let's keep going here.
Which I'm not against if you eat them.
Well, and like I said, back to what we were saying, man, it's hard to get everybody together on the same stuff in this country. And it just takes time, and it takes work. And
So what's it like playing LA?
man,
Where do you play here?
Well, I played Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, that's a big arena.
Several times.
That's great.
I played the Dodgers Stadium.
Well, that's big.
Which was
Dodger Stadium. Wow.
Dodger Stadium. I mean, so that goes back to what I tell you with New Jersey. And I mean, thinking New Jersey and then coming out here and playing Dodger Stadium, I was like, it was just so trippy. I got into cycling, and I cycled up a big hill that morning and stood out over the stadium looking down, and I was like, damn, that's Dodger Stadium, and I'm playing it.
Anytime you're playing a place whose last name is Stadium, you did well.
Man, it
all
amazing.
Came out in the wash for you.
Gosh,
Do you ever worry? Because I always feel like music is, the muse is sitting on your shoulder. And sometimes he sits there for one hit. You've heard that term, one hit wonder.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like you, and, not just you, but, he's there for a while. But you just have to worry, is the next one going to come? Because it's not something you can control completely.
No, I mean, you just do your best to try to write a great song. And
well, you actually try. You don't wait for it to come.
Well, I do that also. I take songs. I love the songwriting community in Nashville, and the fact that they can send songs to me, and so I love trying to record a little bit of Nashville's what their songwriting community has. But so yeah, it's you wake up every day trying to make great music, and sometimes you.
Just because it's a fickle industry.
Well, it's tough.
And you can't, right.
And, with kids on Idol, man, they're up there singing in front of us, and we try to get them to this level and that level, but man, they got to go to work after that, or it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what you worked as a comedian, and then look at, you do one funny joke.
What?
on TikTok, and then you're a funny comedian, but you did
right.
You did a million bad ones.
I did. I had my version of playing those rock and roll bars that you played. You know.
Right.
I played a million small clubs. I played bars, which is not even a place a comedian should be. I played with no stage, standing on a floor with sawdust on it, you know. I mean, oh yeah. But you know, you had it, I had it. It's the best thing in the world that could
So
happen.
good. And I had fun the whole way. I've never not had fun.
I mean, I think it was more fun for you than me. It's less fun for a comedian in that stage.
Really?
Yeah. I think music, even if you're in a little shitty place, first of all, girls still come for you. It's a comedian, you're just a loser. And very often they're just not listening or, you know.
In that stage of,
Yes, it's a sacrificial lamb kind of a thing.
God, you spent how many years having to,
Not that many in that really.
but you learn,
It just
that's the only way
it
you
just
can learn.
toughens you.
It's the only way you can learn to,
Yeah.
I mean, man, you had bad shows
Oh yeah.
and no one was videoing them. Jesus, could you imagine if they'd have videoed them, those bad ones?
Yeah. Well, it's one reason I got off the road just now because, I mean, among other reasons, like I don't trust the crowd anymore. Everyone is just out there to get a scalp. You know, they tell them to turn the phones off. Now, you could collect the phone. Some people do that, but I really don't want to do that to the audience. Most of them, I feel like it would be an insult. I feel like my audience are my friends. They could be my friends. They think like me. It's just not something you would get from just a random sampling of the people out there. So I don't want to insult them like that. But, you know, every once in a while, or somebody who's directly hostile to you can film your show, take things out of context, and also you're pushing boundaries. You know, he crossed the line. Yeah, that's my job, to cross the line. And how do I know where the line is sometimes until I cross it? You should thank me for crossing the line, and every comedian who does it.
Right.
But I don't.
You have to cross the line.
You do. Look at Johnny Cash.
That's what he had to do.
I walked the
I
line.
walked the line, but man,
That last point by Bill Maher right there is so important. Comedians nowadays it seems like most comedians are almost walking on eggshells whenever they try to make a joke. It's like, will this be their last joke before they get canceled by someone for saying something inappropriate? I mean, that is literally what comedians are supposed to do. They're supposed to say potentially edgy, inappropriate things to get a laugh. Like they're supposed to push the boundaries of what's socially acceptable. But nowadays, the risk of getting canceled by people, especially on the left, is so severe. And beyond that, so many comedians, you know, we were talking about how politics has infested so many areas of culture these days. I mean, talk about stand-up comedy as well. Like nowadays, you know, it's rare to see a stand-up comic not making political jokes and not even neutral political jokes, like extreme political jokes on one side of the aisle. It's so tiring. You just want to go to a stand-up comedy event and just hear some funny stuff about something people did, whatever. And instead, you're getting this tirade about Orange Man bad or Orange Man good or whatever. And you know that happened to me the last stand-up comedy routine I went to. It was years back in I won't say which state it was in, but it was back in the late 20 teens, the 2017, 18, 19-ish range. And yeah, the whole thing was just one political stand-up routine, and I just couldn't handle it. It was just like, just give me a break, right? And Bill Maher's right. You know, the risk of getting canceled nowadays is so extreme. But even Bill Maher, a lifelong lefty, in this video talking about how in many ways he prefers doing stand-up routines in red states, in right-wing states, because the crowds are just easier to please. They're just not as stuck up. They're less likely to cancel you or try to cancel you and whatnot. And yeah, Bill Maher, you know, he's slowly but surely waking up to, you know, the madness that the insane modern day political culture with cancel culture, with politics infesting every area of our lives. I think Bill Maher really just wants a return to normalcy where things function correctly. And hopefully Trump can bring that in his new administration. So comment down below in terms of what you thought of this clip here with Bill Maher talking to Luke Bryan. And by the way, Luke Bryan, I've never heard this guy talk outside of him singing. Damn, like no, no homo here. This guy has one incredible, even talking voice. So, don't roast me for that.